this is the dilemma that I'm in. So I want to have long-term lasting relationships with the people that I enjoy hanging out with, the people that I love being around. But honestly, like, I've found that maybe I just haven't found the right circle, or if I haven't found the right supportive people to be around. But really, like, it's me and my girlfriend. It's like I have a lot of close friends that aren't here in San Diego right now. But it's like I do feel like I have let relationships suffer at the cost of working on this business. But I really hope to say that if anybody's listening that is in my life that is that I haven't really kept in touch with as well as I should have, or they should be, that I need to make this time for myself to be able to, like, live. I just gotta live, dude. I just gotta have enough money to live. And it's like, I know my parents would financially support me as well, but being the oldest child, like, I don't want to be a bad example for my siblings, and I want to be somebody that, you know, I want to take what I've learned from my parents and grow with it. And, like, I struggle, and I really need to find this answer. I don't know how I'll find the answer, but I struggle with balancing that, because I know that every dream that I have is within my grasp, but it's like, what, like, do I really want it? You know? And it's just like, not that I don't know what I want, but, you know, like, monetary wealth isn't obviously the end goal for me. It's just getting to a point where I feel like this sense of security, because I don't feel security around. I feel like there's this fire under my ass to get my shit figured out, because I've witnessed plenty of people that have graduated and not had any plan for themselves or anything. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to be proactive, and I'm going to do something, and I'm going to try and get an opportunity for myself that allows me to have financial freedom, but also time freedom too. And it's like hard. Yeah, it's hard. I don't really know, like,
your dilemma. I think, like, right now you're in, like, a very grind mode where you probably feel that, like, I'm going to get past a certain point and it's all going to, like, it's going to come down a lot less. And I think to a degree you're right, because if you're taking 20 units in school and you're coming up on your last semester, it'll
graduating in the spring. So
it's like, and, like, to be honest too, like, it's not like since I came up with Soul Wealth, I'm just, like, kicking it. Like, I still feel, and maybe this is a prideful statement, but I still feel like I'm one of the hardest workers I know. Like, I
damn right. Yeah, you're doing a lot.
So it's like, it's not that I'm, like, sitting here advocating that people should just work way less and not work hard, but there's so much to it, though. I think
there needs to be balance.
There's so much to it. I think that you...
What would you, yeah.
It sounds like you have a fear of stability or money, and this is going to be difficult, because this is, like, that fear to me is completely taken care of by God, because I really, really believe that as a follower of Christ, I really, really believe that God has made it clear to me that we are not to worry about money. There's this, like, really big, grandiose part in the Bible where he says, the birds. He says back in the Bible time you could go buy a bird for 2 cents. And he goes, the birds that you can buy for 2 cents wake up with no plan, and every day I feed them. And when a single bird dies, I know about it. And he says, yeah, you worry about everything you're going to eat and how you're going to live and how you're going to do this and that. He says, this bird's 2 cents and you're far more valuable. You're my favorite creation I've ever made. And he said, I will tell you, I will take care of you, not to worry. And I haven't told you the full story of how I walked across Spain, but I had $300 in my bank account, and I had this pride of asking my parents for help, because they didn't support me on dropping out. So I thought, I'm never going to ask my parents for help. I'm going to prove them wrong. But I really wanted to get to a creator event in New York City, and I couldn't afford it. So I said, and one of my Christian friends said, bro, you're acting with pride. You're saying that you never want to ask your parents for help. And I said,
too young to not ask our parents for help. You're right, yeah.
And so I asked them to buy me a ticket to New York City, and they did. And I stayed on people's couches. And the day before I came home, there's a whole longer story to it, but because we don't have time, this way. I sent this dude a cold email, this author I looked up to. He's a millionaire. And he said, He said, I'll pay for you to walk 200 miles across Spain. And this guy I'd never met paid for me to go walk across Spain. And I was literally broke. And this dude paid for the whole thing. And I had the time of my life, peak 10 out of 10 happiness, telling people about God. And I was just like, why? Like, God's just proved to me that, like, I said, God, I trust you. And here he proved it to me that I don't need to worry about money. And now someone might hear that and mistake that I think, which you asked me a long time ago. You said, do you think soul wealth and wealth are mutually exclusive? And I don't. I don't think that you need to be broke. I don't think that you need to, like, just take these crazy risks and never make money. I just think that people idolize work. Like, work is their
I don't idolize work. I look at work as a means to an end, and I look at it as something that I'm very good at.
Yeah.
And I also think that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that my motivating factor is wanting to reach my fullest potential.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've proved it to myself that anything that I want is within my reach. And it's like, I want this. Like, I want to have something that allows me the time freedom aspect of not working a 9 to 5, not working a traditional job. But I also want the financial freedom. And it's like, the biggest thing that I'm struggling with is like just making enough time for things other than work and like the gym. And it's like, I don't know how to like balance it. And it's, a lot of it does have to do with the amount of school that I'm taking. But even then, it's like,
I think it's important to acknowledge that there will be times where you work a lot harder than you don't.
Agreed.
And I do think that, like, you're gonna have to come out of school and you're gonna get a lot more free time. This is the issue, though, because I think there's a very real possibility where you get out of school, you start managing your time, you don't have the whole barrier of school, and you manage your time well, and you really enjoy your job, and you really enjoy your time with your friends, and life could be great for you. What I fear and what I think you should be hyper aware of is that the type of person you're training yourself to become is to fill your hours. And so I think there's a very real possibility where school ends and then you just put something in.
Yeah.
And that something is probably not going to be quality time with the people you love. And I'm only saying that because I've done it myself over and over and over again. And
that's why I asked you.
It's not something that, it's not a one-time solution. It's every day asking yourself, on a macro and micro level, like, if I were to die, would I enjoy this? And then just also so much, dreams are great. Dreams are freaking awesome. I have so many dreams. I know you know that, and I know you have so many dreams that if you feel some way, whether that is happy, whether that is stressed, whether that is anxious, and you think that attaining something, whether it's money, whether it's a dream, is going to change the way you feel now, you're just setting your house up for huge disappointments.
Yeah.
Now is like, you got it.
No, and I reached that conclusion when I first got myself into like weightlifting. I was like, literally, I had this idea in my mind. I was like, when I look like this, I'm going to be happy. And then 10 months later, I was like, I feel good.
Yeah.
And then exactly what did I do? And like, I was like, okay, what's next? And obviously, like, I hit that point, and this is going super into detail, but I was on this super strong ADHD medicine.
Yeah.
Fuck ADHD medicine. Sorry if anyone else is on it, but like, I stopped taking that entirely.
Yeah.
I have a lot clearer of a head, but I stopped taking that medicine, and I gained a lot of weight, and I was like really not back in my shape. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm back to square one, not square one, but I was like back to square 50.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to re-attain this goal. And it's like, every time I hit a goal, it's like, it's actually almost sad almost, because it's like, I think I need, one thing that I really want to consciously work on is actually enjoying the journey more. Throughout my life, I've had this struggle of like feeling like I have to hate where I am. Exactly what you mentioned.
Yeah.
Hate where I am to want to get to this brighter and better future, but the grass is never greener. And I keep having this lesson thrown in my face. when I was applying to schools here in California. For those of you that don't know, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
You couldn't point it at a map. You literally could not point at it. I bet if I gave you a map in the United States right now, no, you couldn't.
Yeah.
Flyover country. So I burned a lot of bridges and I made a lot of people upset because I was just very vocal and outspoken about not being happy in St. Louis and wanting to go back or wanting to go to California. And I look back now and I realize that there was a better way to do that.
Yeah.
And there's a better way to do that. And I struggle with finding, no, you guys you're all good. I struggle with finding that balance of wanting to be content to the point where I'm not frustrated at my situation and I'm enjoying this, like the things that are going well. My mind consistently has been going towards the negative. I'm like, I don't know how to deal with that. Yeah, you guys are good.
Dude, there's a lot.
There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of.
I really admire your ability to be honest about enjoying the journey, because the amount of times people tell me that quote, like it's all about the journey. It's all about the journey. And then I look at how they live their lives, and much like most people, they idolize the future, but they just throw around the quote, enjoy the journey. And they think that that's the solution. And it's a hard thing. I admire you saying that you don't actually do that, because
it's hard.
Knowing the quote, enjoy the journey, and living it is very, very different. And there's something that really helped me, and a very unique experience was walking across Spain.
Yeah.
And I had been aware of the quote, enjoy the journey, but something really specific happened to me, which is, so for those of you who don't know, I walked 150 miles across Spain this summer. And basically the way it works is you wake up in one small town in Spain and you walk to another small town in Spain, and then you sleep.
That's really.
You wake up, you do it again. But I walked with two other kids who were my age, and they're both athletes. One of them was almost an Olympic swimmer, the other weightlifter. I like lifting weights. So we're three athletic kids. And so for the first 3 days, we would all wake up and we would we're not sprinting, it's a walk, but we're like walking with a purpose, trying to get there as fast as possible. And then every single day for the first 3 days, we had a destination in mind. When we got to the destination, we'd go further. And the third day, I have an autoimmune problem that I got diagnosed with. So it makes me a lot weaker and fatigued. And I started to feel sick. And my friends literally wanted to race. They wanted to be like, let's see out of us three who can get to the destination faster. And I said, guys, I feel sick. I'm too competitive. I can't let myself do this.
You guys are totally fine.
Yeah. Don't worry. I said, I'm too competitive. I can't let myself race or I'm going to end up sick. And so I said, you guys race. I'll walk slow today. And so they raced to the finish line. They ended up, you're already getting so many injuries from walking this many miles a day. They pulled their hamstring. They both sustained injuries. I walked the slowest I walked. It was the fourth day. I walked the slowest I walked. Because I wasn't with my friends, I was just saying hi. Feel free to walk by. Because I was with my friends, I wasn't with my friends, I talked to way more strangers. There was a girl who I thought was attractive. I ended up talking to her. She introduced me to her friends. Her friends introduced me to their friends. Those were the people that I ended up walking the rest of the thing with. They became some of my best friends I still stay in contact with to this day. And I ended up in the same destination that my other two friends ended up at.
But I bet you had a lot more fun.
And I realized, bro, this is literally the metaphor for life, is that here the destination is a city. But like in life, people pick this destination. They go, once I have financial freedom, once I get this, once I do this. And they run there as fast as they can. And they might beat me there. But the thing is, I'm going to get there and I'm going to have a lot more fun along the way. I'm going to be less stressed. I'm not in a rush. I met all these friends. I was talking to them in Spanish. And I literally was like, dude, it was like a slap in the face, because I heard that quote so many times. I was like,
this is what they mean. This is what they mean.
And it's like, that was just that experience to like live it out was just so valuable to me. And another thing that helped me is like, I think there's a quote in The Office where Andy's like manager, and he's just like, it's like a really emotional scene. He's like, I just wish I knew I were in the good old days before I left.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I've experienced that countless times, and I don't know how to. I struggle so hard with, like, I think I push myself too hard to do too much. And then I think that causes me to not enjoy any of it. If that makes sense. I'll be like, I mean, you should see my fucking to-do list every day. It like never gets done. So it's just like, it gets done, but it's like, I've had to be very on edge, for lack of a better words. I've been very, like, I don't know, like working in real estate is very stressful as it is. It's very like, fuck, dude, we'll do photos. They need them in 12, 24 hours. And I gotta like send them out to our editor. And it's just a lot of pressure. And I think a lot of that pressure translates onto myself. And I think also like, I need a better system on how to de-stress, I think is what I need to do. Is because I'm like, I struggle a lot with having to, or needing to feel like I am, like you said, filling my hours, but then I just end up having notes. I have like 1 hour to myself every night.
Feel free to come.
Yeah, you guys are all good. Don't worry. Yeah, no worries, guys. Thanks, you too.
A couple of things that come into my mind. So there's like a self-help response that comes into my mind, which is Tim Ferriss.
I love Tim Ferriss.
He's one of the most popular gurus, and he was like the first person to popularize like making a living but not like striving for like the 4-hour work week. The whole concept of the 4-hour work week was that you work for 4 hours and you make a living. And he talks about the 80-20, which is like
Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. I know.
And I think that like this is just a really macro thing on what you said. Feel free to come through. Is like when clients are being like, if there's clients that are causing you the most amount of stress, you should cut those and pour into the people. And that's like a whole different thing, which I don't want to get into that this podcast, but
yeah, it's okay. That's a really good point.
De-stressing it. And I always bring things back to Jesus, and that's because I really believe in him. But one of the traits that I most admire about Jesus, and I've only heard a couple Christians talk about it, it's not like the really obvious ones like forgiveness or like love, is being interruptible. So it's like Jesus had a more important to-do list than me. Like on an everyday, daily basis, he was healing people. He's like preaching the word. He's doing things that matter much more than what I'm doing. But then on a macro scale, like his dream, or we'll call them his dreams, although they're not his like dreams because he knew what he was going to do. On a macro scale, he literally was like, if you're a Christian, you believe he died. Like he's the hero of the whole story. He's the hero of the universe. That's what we believe. But Jesus in the Bible, every time he's going to preach a sermon, every time he's going to like do his quote unquote work, there will be people. And at the time, it was a class society. So they really looked at poor people as like scum of the earth. And they really looked at prostitutes as scum of the earth. They even looked at women as less than men. And Jesus in the Bible, every time he was on his way to go, someone would want his attention, he would stop and give it to him. He's extremely interruptible. And I still use to-do lists. I have an app called Things 3 that I love, and I'm building out my Notion. I love it.
I need to get on Notion, bro.
I can connect to you, and I can help you with Notion.
See, I need Notion. But I'm like organized, but like I need to be.
I'm a serial like to-do list person.
Me too.
But it's very natural to follow up being a serial to-do list with valuing your to-do list more than anything that's not on it, which includes time with people.
That's a really, really good point.
My to-do list is fill every day. I have tasks that I can do all the time, but I'm always willing to be interrupted because that's how when I tell people I want to be remembered for loving others, I want to be remembered for helping people, pouring into others, then if every time someone wanted my attention, I was just like, I'm too good for that. Or like, it's not that you sit there and go, I'm too good for this person, but you sit there and you go, like, my time needs to be spent here. Like, my time needs to be spent here. But you don't realize that your actions speak louder than words. If you're someone who constantly chooses your to-do list, well, then you're constantly telling other people, like, that you don't love them. And that's like, time is a reflection of love. You spend time with the things you love most. If you love your business, you'll spend the most time with it. If you love your girlfriend, it's like, why you sitting here, even knowing that you lack a little bit in relationships, you still have a good relationship with your girlfriend because you love her.
And she loves me, more importantly. She, like, no, I'm serious. Like, she's seen me at my worst and at my best, and she loves me the same on both days.
Unconditional, not
Unconditional. Like, is that your alarm? Yeah. She's, Danielle Peterson, if you're watching this, I love you so very much, and you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. But, yeah, no, she's, but the thing is, too, like, I'm going to take that advice and I'm going to spend more quality time with her because she helps me out so much with the business. She's come out to shoots and has held a reflector. She's actually literally, as we speak, she's helping me like put some shit in a binder for our contractors that we're training up. So it's like, she's like an extension of myself.
I need to stop you right here.
Yeah.
Think about how you were talking about your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's probably how you want people to talk about you.
Yeah.
But the reason you talk about your girlfriend that way is because what she sacrifices for you, what she does for you. But what you do is for yourself. And like, that's the shattering moment, because that's the same realization I had with my ex-girlfriend, was that if I were to die, she's going to remember me for being a workaholic. Yeah. And maybe, feel free to come through. And maybe she'll be like, because she's so unconditionally loving, she won't remember me that way. But like, if I'm being honest about my actions, like, that's how she should remember me. And again, like I'm all for like providing and making money, and I don't think the two are mutually exclusive, but it's just like constantly reminding yourself, literally think about the way you're speaking about your girlfriend. It's like, you want to be talked about the same way.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, 100%. No, it's 100%, dude. Like, and I think all three of the things that we talked about, like the enjoying the journey and like not filling the schedule, but like giving time to, it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough.
It's not a solution. It's a constant checking yourself like over and over and over again. Because bro, I'm the Soul Wealth guy, and I know this brand, and you could put me in front of a 10,000 audience and I could explain to them exactly what Soul Wealth is and how it works. But bro, like, I still up till 2 a.m. editing podcasts, doing this, and I'm like, I gotta check myself.